The way I see things, to understand life, we must understand death. When something large dies, like a plant, small microorganisms thrive, and when these microorganisms such as bacteria die, we thrive. Even in life there is death, and in death there is life. Each and every little cell of our body maintains this balance of life and death on earth. There are about 30 trillion cells in an average human body, and almost 100 billion die every day due to cell death. How do these cells die? Cells usually die in two ways: apoptosis and necrosis. Now, apoptosis is all about organized and programmed cell death. A cell dies using apoptosis when it is very old or dysfunctional, and it all begins with a trigger. What is this trigger? This trigger can come from the outside or the inside. Our body has immune cells which are designed for this purpose. T lymphocytes. T lymphocytes are WBCs that keep a lookout for very old or dysfunctional cells. Once it spots one, it begins a complex process which releases a killer enzyme called caspase. This caspase triggers the release of more caspase, and this is what we call the caspase cascade. Now, in case you were wondering why I called caspase a killer enzyme, it's because these murderbots specifically target proteins in the cell and break them down into amino acids and peptides. And because the cell is mostly made up of proteins, it dies. Now, we come to the intrinsic pathway. For the cell to die, the pro-apoptotic proteins must be released to trigger a sequence leading to the caspase cascade. Suppose this is a cell. During apoptosis, the cell shrinks and breaks up to form blebs. These blebs contain the recyclable organelles and have a lipid molecule, phosphatidylserine, which attracts phagocytic immune cells. These special cells change shape to engulf and dispose of the blebs. This happens in such a well-organized manner that there is no impact on the neighboring cells. On the other hand, necrosis is not planned at all. It is actually an explosion due to an injury wherein the cell membrane loses its integrity and breaks. For example, these cells here have died from necrosis due to too much heat. Apoptosis is a very important process going on in our body. Old cells die to make way for new and better ones and balance growth. During the development of the fetus in the womb, apoptosis is needed to destroy extra and faulty cells. As a matter of fact, apoptosis not only occurs in animals but also in plants. Every autumn, leaves fall due to apoptosis at the base. Apoptosis is a carefully balanced process which can be very dangerous when upset. Too less cell death can result in diseases like cancer, and too much cell death can result in Alzheimer's disease and Parkinson's disease, for example. However, life does not end at death. The circle of life keeps going on, creating, preserving, and destroying. This is a self-sustaining pattern of life. Understanding cell death takes us a step further in understanding life and who we are. It is not only creating and preserving that keeps survival going, but also a fitting end.